You are listening to Visionaries Wrestling Network, providing your perfect podcast experience.
Alright, this is the MGB review, Z5 Nova Pro American Slang, July 1st, 2016, from the JCC, and we're actually recording this, probably the pre-show for WrestleMania is about to start in 10 minutes. I think we can pretty much catch up on it. I have a feeling there'll be 2 10-minute matches and 40 minutes of talking, which is normally what I do, so I figured now is probably a good time to record this. Alright, as we weren't at this event, let's get straight into it then. Match 1 was a singles match between Logan, Easton, LaRoux, and John Kermon. It opened up with John coming out and cutting a promo. They did say that Kevin Ford and Cecil Scott were on commentary. Oh, I wrote this down and I'm glad I did because I would have forgot. I put Mason's more interested in how old the cat is in human years and why her lips are brown. So I'm going to be very interested to see what your review of this match is. You claim our cat's 157
That's
in
what it
human
said
years.
on Google.
That's she's 10 years old.
I said, okay, Google, how old is a 1 year cat in human years? And it said 1 year equals 15 years.
That doesn't even make sense. Most cats live way past 10 years. So most humans do not live 150 years. Anyway, I'm going to be interested to see what you got for this. I wrote a few things down just in case you didn't, but...
I got 5 whole pages of
for this match?
No, for this event, and I used the bigger pages this time.
Did you number them this time?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why don't I? It's easier to just count.
Okay, and then, well, you're editing again anyway, so you can just edit any gaps out while you're looking for your notes, I guess. Go ahead, tell us about the match.
John Kermon talks about why he wants to fight Logan. Then Logan comes out and starts off the show with a couple punches in each and a triangle on the apron by John. John takes off his shin pad for the kicks. Logan is in an armbar and barely gets to the rope. Logan gets a close 3 roll-up on John, while John got the triangle on him for a close 3. And Logan does a subprimal mortgage. John gets a foot on the rope at 2.999, and Logan wins with a tights roll-up.
Alright, I got a few things as well. I was trying to make sure I didn't repeat anything. Yeah, I thought there was lots of energy in this match. Logan's been main eventing in quite a few of these early events, so to put him as the opener, I thought it definitely gave some energy for this one. I thought this was John Kermon's best match. We've seen plenty of his matches, but I really like that they put him up against one of the bigger names, and he really got to show what he's capable of doing. And yeah, I would definitely like to see more matches like that. A huge missile dropkick from the top rope by Logan. Yeah, you mentioned that the stunner, well, you asked what it was, and the stunner, or that's what it looked like to me. They called it the subprime mortgage. But it wasn't Logan's feet. It wasn't Logan's feet that were on. Somebody's feet were on the rope, so it didn't count. I can't remember which way round it was. Now, I know what a mortgage is, and I'm sure you know what a mortgage is as well. I
think so. It's like your house loan or something.
Yeah, it's your house loan. I've heard of subprime mortgages. I know they're a bit dodgy, and I didn't exactly know what the definition was, so I had to look that one up for later. Subprime mortgages are normally issued to people who have a low credit rating. So it could be possibly that they might have to default on their loan because they won't be able to pay it. So it actually goes to people who basically probably don't have a lot of money. Therefore, that makes perfect sense for Logan. If he's the 1%, he's giving out mortgages to people who are not as rich as him, who do not have as good credit rating as him. So I really like the fact that they've called it the subprime mortgage. I thought that worked really well and fitted in with that. Perfect. And they often charge a higher interest rate for that as well, because it's like, hey, look, you're not really that good at paying your money back, so we're going to charge you a little bit more. Okay, match 2 was a 4-way match between Alexander James, Ken Dixon, Reed Bentley, and Frankie Pickard. Reed ripped up a fan sign as he came in right at the start. I thought that was pretty funny. And Alexander James, we noticed, was escorted out by Josh Fuller. So we think that this is his debut.
That was his trainer. I mean, Alexander James was Josh Fuller's trainer.
Oh, is that how it works?
It said trainee on the back of his shirt.
It said trainee on his back, and then we wondered if he was going to be like his manager or something. But then it looked like he just took like his robe off, and then and then we couldn't find him after the match. So I don't think he was ringside anymore.
In the next match.
And yes, we saw him in the background, didn't we? Huge cheers for Frankie Pickard. Now I know Frankie Pickard we've seen a few times on previous Nova Pros, and we discovered by accident Frankie Pickard follows you on Twitter because you asked, "Did you say follow you?" I'm like, nope. So I don't remember that at all. It's sometimes I guess I just miss some certain notifications, but yeah, I think the reason it came up was I was logged on as you, and I saw one of his posts, so I kind of commented. He noticed that he went to Walmart, and obviously people have been bulk buying on toilet paper, hand sanitizer, things like that. He said he went to the gym section and all the weights had gone as well. So I think I commented like, "Oh, please tell me people aren't stockpiling weights now." And it was that point when I noticed, I was like, "Oh, you guys follow each other." So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool.
I have two funny stories from that.
Okay.
So one, Grandma is almost out of toilet paper, so Mom, she couldn't find any reasonable price toilet paper, except she bought a 96 roll toilet paper pack.
Holy cow.
It was only $50.
Oh, that's not... Okay, well, that's not too bad.
That was the only reasonable price one.
I found one that wasn't bad. It was like 70 cents a roll for 10 rolls, and that included free shipping as well.
And my second one, I was reading to Jackson this morning, and it was the Berenstain Bears, and they live down a sunny dirt road deep in bear country. And there's a wrestling group called Bear Country.
Oh, yeah. Of course there is. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And
they follow me.
One of them follows you as well. I'd forgotten about it. Was it Bear Bronson? I think he said it was Bear. That was another one. I was like, wow, I didn't even remember that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you followed him as well. I think it was probably from Alpha One. And I'm really bad at remembering to follow wrestlers on your account. Like, I do it on mine first while I'm doing my research, and then often I'll just forget to do it on your account. But I'm making a better effort. I went through the other day, and I found like 30 wrestlers that you watch a lot who you haven't followed. So I try to follow those as well. Eventually, when you get your Twitter account, it'll actually have the people on who you'll probably want to see. One thing I did notice on this one, no buff ref chats at all. I'm sure we probably commented about that before. I guess not, but it was, it was just ref as normal.
I wonder how he got that nickname.
Because he's buff.
I know, but who?
And he's a ref.
Who made up that? Who?
I don't know. I'm going to guess something similar. When we start watching future episodes, kind of like Tim Donst, nobody was shouting safety first. Yeah. It was just something that evolved over time.
He probably picked somebody up.
I'm going to guess something happened. Also on this one, when they announced the matches as well, and they were like, it's scheduled for one fall. Nobody said one fall either. So there wasn't as many people at this as when we went as well. So it might be as the crowds get bigger.
Yeah, there's a lot of empty seats.
Yeah, there's probably a bit more participation at that point. All right, go ahead, Mason. Take it away.
Ken Dixon is from wherever he pleases. That's what the announcement.
Kind of like Orange Cassidy a little bit.
Oh, I thought
his weight doesn't matter. He's from wherever.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of a little similar to that.
I think this was before Orange Cassidy.
This definitely before. Yeah, before freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. Anyway.
Ted and Reed, and Alexander James, they gang up on. Oh my god! And James, he does a suicide dive. Alexander, he did a pressed kick to Reed, and a super duper plex, which is a double stack suplex. And Frankie does a Superman punch. I put buff ref. Todd Myers is distracted. And a low blow, then a brainbuster to Frankie Pickard for a Alexander win.
Yeah, and the low blow was by Alexander James. I was going to add that point in because that's kind of important. I put Frankie takes on Ken Dixon and Reed Bentley, and it works for a bit, but the double team was way too much at the start. Great cannonball from Reed, that was for sure. He's a big guy. That was a great cannonball. He timed it perfect. After the superplex, there was big chance again of Frankie. Yeah, Frankie Pickard was really over on this one. I don't think I noticed that on the previous one. And AJ got the win because Ken Dixon and Reed are on the outside. So even though there was 4 people in the match, he only really had to worry about the person who he was actually pinning on this one. Now, also after this match, Logan came out to congratulate him. So I'm wondering if this is start of the 1%. They did kind of talk a little bit of a promo. So I'm not quite sure. That wasn't particularly made that clear. Now, I don't know. I think I got my notes a little bit out of order here. I did look up Reed Bentley this time. So he's actually featured on, I looked on Cage Match, an OPW title death match. Nick Gage versus Reed Bentley. That was his last match that was listed. So he's having some big matches. Nick Gage, I assume is the champion for that one. And it's obviously those death matches as well. That was in New Jersey. Reed on Twitter. I've been wrestling in front of no fans, now all of a sudden it's cool. SMFH, I just can't win with you people. So obviously now there's no wrestling going on at all. Or WWE is wrestling with no fans, and AEW are as well, but I thought that was pretty funny.
AEW still doing that?
They're still going as well for right now.
Oh,
Also from Reed Bentley on March 28th, I think the most viewed clip of myself online is me throwing at Ruby Riott WWE for a forearm in this match. Now, this was something that IWTV listed. It was from June 16th, 2012, St. Louis Anarchy from Cleveland, Ohio. And the match was Dale Patrick's, Miss Heidi, that's Heidi Lovelace, as she used to be known as, Remy Wilkins, Nate Stone, Reed Bentley, and Trip Cassidy. It was awesome. I actually watched that match. While I was researching this, I was like, oh, I got time. I got IWTV. I'll go watch that match. Man, it was a crushing forearm. It was great.
Wasn't Trip Cassidy, isn't that...
Carnies?
Yeah, I think so. No.
He's in the Carnies.
I thought he was one of the guys that you were talking about on Black Label Pro that is like one of the clowns.
Frank the Clown?
No. Oh, yeah. Oh, Trip Cassidy, I remember him. He was a clown face, though.
Okay, alright, fair enough.
Or he has face paint on, I know that.
And the other match I saw, I know why I wrote this one down. January 5th, 2019, Unsanctioned Pro, Unsanctioned Pro 3, Capital City Chaos, Maria Manic and SHLAK, who actually appears later on in this event, versus the Ugly Ducklings and the Rejects, which Reed Bentley is one of those. Now, the reason this stuck out for me, this is in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh.
When we go up to Ohio, this is literally 2 hours away. Unfortunately for you, I think this might be a daddy-only match, possibly. I'm not sure if it's going to be 18 or... It looked like it might be an 18s and above type thing. It looked like some of the matches were a little hardcore. So, it's alright. I can tell you how good it was anyway.
I went to LIW, and they had a 6-year-old there. They had like a 2-year-old there.
But you can actually watch some... They have some of those matches on... I think it was IWTV as well, so perhaps we might try... I haven't watched any of it yet. I just commented on their Twitter feed that, ooh, that looks pretty cool. When I looked at the card, I was like, that card looks like people we would like to see. Okay, match 3 was a singles match between Veda Scott and Kimber. Now, there was 24 wrestlers in this event, because I actually counted them. They had a poster. Only 6 people appeared on that poster. 2 of the 6 people, Kimber and Veda Scott. Ooh. So that's quite important, quite impressive that both of those made it onto that one. This was Kimberly's Nova Pro debut. March 30th on Twitter, Veda says, when people ask why I wear a mouth guard now, well, this is why. 3 years ago, at the first Joey Janela Spring Break cluster bleep, I lost a few teeth from, to be honest, Spring Break was worth it. Nothing else was like it. And she, kind of like on Facebook where you get on this day, it showed you her picture from there. She had blood dripping down her face, and she actually has that image on a t-shirt as well. And she was starting to resell them. We've seen her with the mouth guard before, because we've talked about it, but I'm always amazed when wrestlers don't do that. It seems like such an easy safety precaution.
I thought it was because she wears braces. In wrestling, you have to wear a mouth guard if you have braces.
Oh, okay. March 26th. You should be fluent in French by the time this is over. And this was Mike Bailey, because obviously he's challenging Veda. I think Mike Bailey has something to do with Black Label Pro, I think I read. And... yeah, obviously now with people having to stay home, everyone's saying, hey, you should learn this skill or you should try this one. I wrote it down because you were going to do it, but I think you're starting to do some Spanish on Duolingo, right? Oh, you've given up on that as well? You did French
I never started.
Okay, you did French for a day to bug your brother.
No, 2.
2 days.
I learned how to say a little bit.
All right, go on then, give us some French that you learned.
Becky Lynch is la homme.
Is the man. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Anything else?
Over there is HeelCat.
It's not chat, it's chat.
Chat.
Le chat, the cat.
I can spell it out because...
C-H-A-T?
Yeah.
I thought they pronounced the words and then you repeated it. Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, a little bit. But
so they said sha and you went chat.
No, they say shata.
Perhaps I've been pronouncing it wrong for years then. Alright, lots of streamers for Veda and even more for Kimber. The ref actually got decorated by streamers from Veda. She was the first one in there, and while she was waiting and Kimber was coming out, she sort of wrapped him around the ref. And big cheers for Kimber at the start, that was for sure. So even though it was her debut, obviously people knew who Kimber was. Alright, talk to us about this one.
Whenever you talk about showered in streamers, I always think of Kylie Ray.
Yeah.
She was buried.
I know that picture you're talking about.
I was watching this one show where this king... Or this, he was getting, so people started throwing clothes at him because that's what you do. And he got so many clothes that he suffocated and died.
Oh my god.
It was like...
Are you talking about ECW?
No.
Oh, okay. There was a famous one where there was chairs thrown in.
It was this show called Horrible Histories, and there were stupid deaths.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But
I'm hoping you're going to mention the significance of this match as well. Although it was just a singles match, there was something on the line for this.
They wrestle for Kimber's hat, and the ref holds up her hat like it's a whole championship belt, and then Veda gets to touch the hat and stuff like they do with the real belt. And Kimberly, the announcer said, or the commentator said that Kimberly held a championship with Gregory Iron.
Oh, okay. Oh, did it say where?
No.
Oh, okay.
And Veda does a schoolgirl instead of a schoolboy, but it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Veda chokes Kimber for a good 10 seconds. Kimber does an anaconda vice on the ropes.
I have that in my notes, so that was good, just in case you couldn't read your own writing. What's an anaconda?
A snake.
Okay, all right, keep going.
Josh is off in the corner of the building, and there was a Northern Lights by Veda, and there was she got out of it. She kicked out of it and into a German descent. Kimber kicks out of a DDT off the top rope, and Kimber wins with a powerbomb and retains her hat. And Veda steals hat from Fan and then gives it to the cameraman on the way back.
Yeah, she put it on his head. You couldn't really see because obviously it was filming, but you could see she reached up above the camera and she said, I didn't really want it.
Yeah.
Which was true, but I thought that was... Now, the thing I noticed on this one as well, from the JCC, Kimber actually exited left. As the camera's looking, they came in from the right, so there's actually two entrances or two exits, which I hadn't. Normally they go back through the entrance. Kimber actually exited from the other side. The setup was different than when we used to go because the entrance used to be in the middle, so people just used to come straight through. And actually, where their entrance is now that's where we used to walk in when we used to go. So there's a few little differences there. Now, before match 4 started, Sean Studd was announced as being injured, but he still came out and he wanted to talk, and he said, unfortunately, I did suffer an injury this week, but I can guarantee you the rest of the show will blow your socks off. That was very PG for Sean Studd. I was expecting something a little bit more than that. That's the kind of thing I'd expect Jackson to say if something was... I thought that was a little weak, to be quite honest. Logan and Alexander James came out then. AJ told everybody to shut their ignorant mouths. Logan mentioned the fact that we're better than you. Ooh, he stole a line. Well, he didn't steal a line. MJF stole a line from him as well. I think MJF uses that as well.
I mean, he made it his catchphrase, but...
he did.
I mean, WWE people steal catchphrases from everyone.
There's only so many things you can say, but I thought it was funny they did that. Sean Studd said, come into this ring and say that. Logan gets on the ring apron, and then it didn't quite work. Sean Studd pushed him off, but AJ was behind him to actually catch him on his shoulders, and then they back off. And then that led into match 4. So match 4 was a singles match between Tim Donst and Bobby Shields. Bobby Shields was a face for this, which kind of surprised me. We know him from Nova Pro mainly as a heel, and we assume at some point he's going to also join the 1%, which looks like it's just about started at this point. He's giving high fives, there were streamers for Tim Donst. There was a lot of things in this match. Go ahead.
So, who is Sean Spears? Is that Ty Dillinger?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. It's AEW. I saw the Sean part, and then I saw the S, and sometimes your brain does autocomplete, and it was like Sean Spears. I
was thinking Britney Spears first.
They're brother and sister.
No, they're not. I bought that for a second. Just for a
second. I
was
was curious to see if you would. No, they're not related.
Yeah, because he used to be Dillinger.
Correct. I'm not sure if Sean Spears... Actually, I think Sean Spears might be his real name, actually.
Oh.
I think I remember talking to RJ about this at one point, because he was wrestling up, when I talked to him on Good Cop, Bad Cop, he was talking about people that came through his organization up in New York, and that was one of them, a very young Sean Spears, because I didn't recognize his picture at all. But it was a slightly different spelling on the Sean Spears then and the Sean Spears now, and he's like, no, that was him. Mm-hmm. So probably that's either his original name or that's his real name. But yeah, he couldn't keep Ty Dillinger once he'd left WWE.
So Tim Donst and Bobby Shields have a very, very even test of strength. And after a good 5 minutes, Tim Donst wins. And...
that was it? They had a test of strength for 5 minutes and then he won?
No, I probably over-exaggerated.
That was the end of the match?
It was probably more like 45 seconds.
Oh, okay.
But then I like the parachute stretch that Tim Donst did. And Jason says, I hope someone brought the applesauce because these chops have been on the menu all night.
I didn't write that down. If I'd have heard that, I must have been writing something else down at the time. I missed that. I like that.
And
Jason has some good lines.
There was a full minute delayed suplex by Tim Donst, and Donst wins with the submission, and Brendan Day comes out and attacks Donst with the chain.
Yeah, and they had some beef from previous event when they actually fought there as well. Now, my only complaint with that is it wasn't a full minute. The audience were counting, but they were not counted evenly. After a while, it was like 41, 42, 43, 44. It wasn't quite that quick.
I mean, it was cool.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
It was longer than I think I've ever seen before in any match. And yeah, it certainly looked impressive. I thought these two put on a great match as well. Obviously, Bobby would be in a face. I wouldn't exactly say Tim was a heel on this one either, but
yeah,
it was,
they were all cheering.
Yeah, they put on a great match. I would be quite happy for them to repeat this type of thing. Tim Donst on Twitter, March 24th. After this quarantine is over, everybody on the Indies should re-debut with a different gimmick, like we got traded to the other brand in the early 2000s. They're talking about WCW and WWF. I'm going to be the Prime Rutherford B. Laser. My finisher is a standing shooting star called Primetime. Hashtag what time is it? I put Primetime Pro would love that. He's really the company man because he appears regularly at Primetime Pro. So his move is going to be called Primetime. He's going to be called The Prime. So I was wondering if you could come up with any character changes you'd like to see for different people than Mason. That's what Tim Donst has got prepared. Any ideas?
I would like Orange Casserole. I would like
Casserole.
Orange Cassidy to be a workhorse for a day.
That would be different.
Yeah.
He can do that. He does that sometimes in matches. But...
yeah, just for like one day, like his tag team partner sprays some like some special orange juice. No, they switch his orange juice with like those protein shakes.
And then it gives him energy.
Yeah, an energy drink.
There you go.
That would be good. Who's his partners right now?
Is it Private Party? Something?
Yeah,
or
Private Party puts some energy drink. Or they put 5-hour energy in his orange juice.
I like that. Orange Cassidy is the only person I don't want the character messing with right now. He's been there for over 6 months.
Just for like one show.
They still haven't changed it. The longer he can keep that character, the better. This week on AEW was holding up a blank sign with nothing on it as part of the audience. I love his character. I don't want him to change at all.
Just for one show. It doesn't have to be permanent, but that would be really
That would be a good twist. Yeah, switch his orange juice for an energy drink. I kind of like that.
Put it up on the Jumbotron before.
That's good.
When they have their WrestleMania. Oh, talking about WrestleMania, I had this WrestleMania book, and I looked at all the attendances, and I think 11 was the worst attendance one with 16.
Until today.
Yeah, 16,158 people.
Yeah, today's going to beat that one pretty easily.
Yeah.
Alright, match 5, singles match, Arik Royal and Donovan Dijak. I think this is actually where we're probably going to, after the match, I'm going to be talking to Ryan from the Blade Job Show podcast. I know Donovan Dijak used to appear in Beyond Wrestling, and he's our kind of expert from People from Beyond. On our last episode, I actually talked to him about Matt Tremont as well, because we want to know a little bit more. So I think it's tomorrow we're going to record with him, or I'm going to record with him, so... I don't have anything to talk about on this match because I knew that he would be the expert. So go ahead, tell us about this match.
How tall is Dominic?
You about to say Diamond Donovan Dijak Page or something, I think. 6'6", I believe.
He had to duck to get under the tent. And Dominic threatens Arik to never slap him again or else something bad will really happen. Something bad will happen. And Arik, he slaps Dijak again. And then Dominic gives Arik a huge spinning kick. And a double knee by Dijak in the corner. Arik gets a mid-air Space Jam. Arik gets out of the Feast Your Eyes. Arik wins with a shoulder tackle, and he's still undefeated.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I know he had an undefeated streak going for a long time. I don't know how many events he's appeared in at this time. This might be his second or his third. I'm not quite sure. I meant to look that up and then forgot to do that. And yeah, I'm going to insert the clip now from Blade Job.
All right, after we finished recording last night, I noticed that I'd missed a few things with my notes. I got my notes slightly mixed up. So Donovan Dijak also featured in matches against Dalton Castle, Cody, and also Marty Scurll for Ring of Honor in early 2017. And actually, he reappears at Nova Pro in February 2017 in a match against Sanjay Dutt, which, on current recording levels, we'll probably review in about 4 years' time, where Mace has no interest in wrestling at all. As we alluded to at the start, we didn't talk much about Donovan Dijak because I knew that we had an expert on this. Ryan from The Blade Job.
This is a special moment, I think, because this is my triumphant return to professional wrestling podcasting. I have not done this in months. Dominic Dijakovic.
Ugh.
I hate it. Now, I first and foremost, I want to say I don't hate it in the sense of, oh, you know what, Vince or Hunter gave him some horrible name, because I know a lot of NXT people get to choose their names. But they had an interview with the King himself, Baron Corbin, and he talked about the process of getting your WWE name. And a lot of the times, apparently what they do is they say, you need a name, give us names, and they will list out 10, 20, 30 ring names, and they will submit them to WWE management, and WWE management will go, no, okay, we like the first name, we hate the last name, no, try again. Dijak, I don't know, maybe that was something, maybe it's an old family name, because I mean, Dijak is not, Dijak and Dijakovic, there's a very good chance that when they were in Europe, his family was Dijakovic, and they changed it when they came to America. I had a lot of experience with Dijak. Dijak was probably the first local indie wrestler from the New England area that I really was like, man, this guy's going to be big. Like, this guy's going to make it somewhere. It's going to happen. And I think one of my favorite Dijak moments, I might get some of the details wrong because it's been a while, Matt Riddle was a pretty big heel in Beyond Wrestling at the time, and Dijak was pretty much their top face. And this was just after Riddle's initial signing with WWE. So, for those who don't know, Riddle was signed and then let go. And then he came back to NXT, as now we see, because he reformed his character a little bit. And there was a brawl going on, and Riddle was brawling with someone, and it was just like a 2-on-1, 3-on-1 attack kind of thing. And Dijak comes out to break up the fight and cuts this scathing promo that starts with, "Hey Riddle, how was NXT? Did you have fun, bro?" They just went after each other. And I think it's funny now that both of them are back in NXT together, and we have not had Dijak versus Riddle.
No.
As far as I know.
I don't think we have.
They gave us Dijak and Keith Lee, which is a smart pairing because they work really well together. Now, their matches haven't been up to their indie spec, except for their takeover match I thought was brilliant. But then again, Dijak doesn't get nearly as much ring time as Keith Lee does.
No.
So I think that Keith Lee might be even just a little more comfortable with the NXT arena, the NXT crowd at this point, even though he signed after Dijak did. Dijak was an interesting thing in New England wrestling for a lot of reasons. Seeing him in Beyond, where he was so over as a face. People loved Dijak. I mean, from his theme song to his in-ring ability to his size, everyone loved Dijak. That's where I saw him primarily. And then I went to a promotion called Lucky Pro Wrestling, and Dijak was there. This was as he was signing with WWE. This was pretty much his last show for the promotion that built him up. And he comes out, and everyone's cheering, but then I'm realizing, oh wow, here, he's a heel, and he is a monster heel. So I'm like, oh, this is really interesting, because days before, I saw him get pretty much a standing ovation as a face, and here, it's his swan song. It's his final show for Lucky Pro. I'm like, man, this is going to be great. He's probably going to, like, you know, thank you all very much, blah, 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 all that kind of crap. But he doesn't. He stays heel the entire show. And pretty much his goodbye speech is, I want to thank everyone for absolutely nothing. None of you have ever done anything for me. Kiss my ass. And I was like, see, you stayed in heel mode even though you know this is it. It was so cool within 3 days to see both sides of a performer, to see I can be a face, I can be the face of a company, but I can also be a dastardly heel, someone who just doesn't play by anyone's rules except for my own, but not even my own. You know, it's just, there was so much to him, and I think he's such a multifaceted performer, and I really think that NXT knows what they have. They obviously know, or they wouldn't have put him in the North American title picture with Keith Lee.
Mm-hmm. Now, I wrote down a few things, and just in case that you couldn't ad-lib, I don't know why I was even worried. Some of the matches I saw, he actually had a match against Walter in August. That was actually in Somerville, so obviously those guys are both NXT. David Starr at Beyond Americana. American Rana in 2017. The Gentleman's Club, Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy defeat Donovan, Dijak and Mikey Webb. Also, Donovan Dijak defeats Mikey Webb at Beyond 7 Years of Bad Luck. And also, Team England, Anthony Greene, who you mentioned, Brick Mastone, Donovan Dijak and Mikey Webb defeat Team Ohio, Dave Christ, Desmond Xavier, Jake Christ and Zachary Wentz. Does that jog any memories for you?
So, I was at 7 Years of Bad Luck. I remember that match clearly. I mean, I couldn't tell you what happened in the match, obviously, but I remember it happening clearly. Sure. But yeah, him and Dijak worked really, really well, both as a tag team and as opponents. Dijak is one of those performers who can work with someone his size. He can work with a big man, someone like Keith Lee.
Yeah.
But he can also work really well with a smaller guy, someone like Mikey Webb, or someone like, you know, JC Dunn.
All right, match 6, the singles match. Brandon Day, who came out against Tim Donst earlier, or attacked him, against Jefferson Early. Now, he was actually listed as Jeff Early on this one. And 2006, Brandon Day actually defeated Jeff Early at NWA Virginia, in Chesterfield, Virginia. And I also have for Jefferson Early, Ring of Honor Championship Challenge, August 27th, 2010. Against Steve Carino.
Oh.
I think that came up on one of our reviews recently.
Yeah, because we were talking about Steve Carino.
It was I know what it was.
VCW.
It was the VCW, because we talked about Colby Carino, and I knew that you knew about Steve Carino as well. So I liked how all these things came together. I liked the fact that those guys fought at NWA. I liked the fact that this was a Ring of Honor as well. Also, to link this in as well, person who we interviewed last week, Mason, 2013, Jefferson Early defeated Ethan Cross at NWA Fusion. We didn't even know he fought in NWA. Yeah. I feel really bad I didn't do the proper research for this one. I knew I had certain things I wanted to talk to him about, and mainly the Charlotte Flair was the main one, and I wanted to talk about some of the matches that we'd seen as well, because I thought that was relevant. I didn't even think about looking back at all, but yeah, he was part of NWA Fusion in 2013. So I like how all these things link together. And also in 2016, one of his last matches was actually against Colby Carino, and for the VCW Commonwealth Heritage title. Mm-hmm. It was actually at the Liberty Lottery, which we've been to one of those. I think we went to the 2019 one. So I like the fact that Steve Carino came up. I like the fact Ethan Cross came up. And I like the fact Colby Carino came up. All from reviews that we did within the last week. And all those people Jefferson Early actually fought. I thought that was kind of cool. That's it. That's all I got. Go ahead.
I don't know what this means, but I have a cool flip neck break by Jeff. And what? It's not like it's even, like, it's obvious that it is a cool flip neck break, but it's not even messy. And Jeff missed the missile drop kick, and Brandon, he kicks out of the schoolboy pin, a small package pin, and a sunset flip pin under 30 seconds. Brandon Day wins with a hard elbow, and Donst tries to attack Brandon, and Donst challenges Brandon to a no DQ match next show.
And they did. They announced that was going to be for the August show. I think this is 6 months since we last did one of these reviews, Mason, so I have no idea when our next one will be. Might be a little earlier this time, with there being no wrestling on. This might be something that we actually go back to once a month for the next couple of months, so It's possible we'll get to see that one. But yeah, I'm trying to think who else did I see was coming up on that card. Considering this one had Dominic Dijak in, and one more person who we're going to mention later who's a big name. There was another big name on that next card. Oh, Manswarner, yeah. Okay, match 7 was an 8-man tag team match. It was, well, it didn't start out like that, but that's how it finished up. Cutie and the Beast, Beau, Crockett, and Innocent Isaiah. Aaron Biggs and Mecha Mercenary. Isn't that the Sandwich Squad? Yeah. I didn't write that down. And Brandon... Oh, sorry. Those were all together as... They were all together as a 4-man team. And against Brandon Greene, Dan O'Hare. I've always said Rayo, but I think they said something different on commentary. Rayo? They say Rayo?
Well, I mean, they say Logan, Easton, and LaRoux.
Yeah, I noticed John Kermon said that. So, yeah, I don't know. And SHLAK, who I mentioned earlier. Now, what have I got on here? SHLAK. I think I found this on Twitter. I think this is his profile. Public Animal number 1. I deathmatch wrestling. Crash test dummy. Guns don't kill people. SHLAK kills people. Safety is my number 2 priority. Hashtag no God only SHLAK. Also, I saw one of his tweets was priority list 1, death. 2, safety. 3, death. 4, death. 5, death. So I think that might be something that you might be interested in, Mason. Now, I think I've seen SHLAK somewhere else. I don't know if I saw him on... When we came back from Canada last year, there was an organisation I used to start watching a little bit, and I can't remember what it is because I've dropped out of habit a little bit. I think I saw him on there.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And it's driving me crazy because I can't remember what it's called. They have some really good matches
on there.
I know,
because there was this one match where it was like ornaments and Christmas presents and stuff. And there's...
Psycho Mike.
Yeah, Psycho Mike.
Where we saw Psycho... Yeah, I love that organisation. I've just dropped out of the habit of watching it for a while. Anyway, here's some of the reviews for SHLAK on Cage Match. This is a really big contrast. First review, 9 stars. 9 out of 10. Public Animal number 1, no God, only SHLAK. I think that's where I got that quote from earlier. He is one of the best deathmatch wrestlers today. He has such charisma about him, and he has a look where he almost looks like a cartoon character. He's had great matches in GCW and Horror Slam, where he is the current deathmatch champion. But every match he goes all out, willing to take crazy bumps, but he can wrestle as well, and cuts great promos and has a great look too. He is one of the most over wrestlers at Horror Slam. Quickly gets a huge following, and the crowd goes nuts every time he comes out.
So he's like Mick Foley?
I don't know, but if he's with GCW, that has a high... Anyone who's fighting for GCW, you know straight away is good, because that's a top promotion. All right, Cash Grab wrote on... Oh, that was from 2020. That was the last review that somebody wrote. It was from February 25th, 2020. This was from January 1st, 2019. 0 out of 10. How the heck is he still getting booked? He is not a very good wrestler. He's not even a very good deathmatch wrestler. He doesn't have any good mic skills or skills in the ring. He should be a crappy backyard wrestler, rather than pollute the indies with his garbage wrestling. Possibly the worst wrestler I've ever seen. It's like, ouch. So some big contrast there. So at the end, I'm going to ask you which one you think is closer to the truth, or if it's the middle.
The first one was closer to the truth because you're not going to have a garbage backyard wrestler in GCW.
I wouldn't have thought so. His last match was actually versus Jeff King at GCW, so he's still fighting there. And I saw one match that caught my eye from August 2019, the 300 Fluorescent Light Tubes death match. I don't know if you remember we talked about all those matches. Yeah. That was the first one. I think that was in Jackson's book. Yun Kasai versus Masashi Takeda defeated Alex Colon and SHLAK. So I saw that 300 Fluorescent Light Tubes deathmatch, and I knew that was one that you really enjoyed. I think that made Matt's Christmas crackers, actually, when we discussed all the different types of deathmatches you can have. All right, talk to us about this one, Mason.
So the Cutie and the Beast and Rayo and Money Green talk for 5 minutes before the people attack, and then it's the 8-man tag. And the commentator says that Beau doesn't have an ounce of brain in him, and Dan opens up the ropes. So Isaiah runs ropes and falls outside. And remember when we had that decapitated talk?
Mm-hmm.
The commentator called said that Isaiah got decapitated.
I don't think he meant literally, though. I think you meant literally when he said it, but I don't know. Perhaps you didn't mean that. Like, sometimes you talk about knocking their head off. You don't literally knock their head off, but I don't know. Perhaps you're right, then. Perhaps that is what they said. Okay.
Oh,
can I give you the exact quote for Beau, though?
Yeah.
If he had an ounce of brains in his head, he would have done that, but he's stupid. They had the heel commentator. I don't think that was the original 2 at this point. I think there was a third commentator.
He reminds me of Corey Graves.
Yes, I would agree.
Rayo does a soccer move on Isaiah. So Money distracts the refs so the tag didn't count, and Aaron Biggs has to go back. And the commentator says the refs are the worst and worse than the NFL refs. And at this time, they were blowing game-winning call after game-winning call.
They were.
And Rayo wouldn't use the wooden box and got a sandwich for a loss.
Yep.
And Money slaps Rayo after the match, and Rayo shoves Money.
And I think that's something I thought you were going to mention it, and I didn't write it down either. But yeah, when Rayo came out, we were known as the Warrior.
Yeah.
I think he's Peruvian, from what I can remember before when I talked about it. And he didn't have that image at all. He just came out with a soccer ball, as far as you could tell. I know Peru is very passionate about soccer. I used to have someone who used to play poker with who was from Peru. And there used to be a Premier League player called Norberto Solano, who was very good from Peru. So I know the Peruvians are very passionate about their soccer. But
was it Pele from Peru or something?
No, he was from Brazil.
Oh,
the most famous
but
player
there is
in the
one
world.
famous player from Peru that I know, that I heard of.
No, you don't. You don't know any. I can only name one. Like I said, he was probably from the mid-90s.
Oh.
I think he's that old, so I don't think
I know
you
a bear from Peru.
A bear? Oh, Paddington Bear. I guess so. All right, let's wrap this up because WrestleMania is about getting ready to start. Match 8, PWI Ultra J title match. Cedric Alexander, there's our big name. We're accompanied by Veda Scott, and I think Mason has a theory on why she accompanied him. And Chet Sterling. Mason, I'm going to leave this all to you. I think everyone knows who Cedric Alexander is.
Yeah, so I believe Veda was with him because I know those two were at Ring of Honor about the same time, so I think that's where they were paired up. Mm-hmm. And Cedric attacks Chet before the bell rings. And Cedric is a heel for this one.
Yeah.
So Cedric, he rolls the apron down. So when Chet jumps over the ropes, he gets low blowed, not all the way stuck in the apron.
I like that.
Yeah.
I've not seen that done before, which kind of surprised me.
I've seen like Liv Morgan pull, or the Riot Squad pull the.
I've seen people get trapped around it and they fall in between it, but not with one leg either side of it like that. Yeah. I kind of like that.
So Cedric, so Chet does a huge enziguri and a cool Michikuku, or some weird name that I don't know
Japanese move?
Yeah, Michinoku driver by Cedric Alexander, and Chet does a slingshot apron DDT, and Cedric got caught with a blockbuster, and Veda pulls the ref out the ring, and Veda almost gets ejected, but Cedric saves her with a pin, but he kicks out of that, and Cedric he gets the
lumbar check.
Yeah, the lumbar check, and he pins Chet, but his foot sneaks under the plane of the rope, so he has to do it again and pin him in the middle of the ring.
I don't know if that was planned or not, but I don't think so. I kind of felt a little sorry for him. That first one was pretty brutal. You said it was your second favorite finisher.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. And then when he had to take another one, I was like, oh my gosh. I felt kind of sorry for Chet.
I think Matt knows how that feels. Because when we did the double tap challenge, I jumped on his back with my knees a whole bunch.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a really cool finish. And then after that, Logan comes out. He wants a title match. And then Kermon came out and attacked Logan. Alexander James came out to protect Logan and starts attacking Kermon. And then it just went crazy after that one. There was so much going on. Pretty much the whole locker room emptied out. A rewind DDT from Frankie Pickard to even the odds. And Cedric Alexander did a flip over the top rope onto everybody, and it spilled right into the crowd. I commented online after we finished this, just to kind of promote MGB. I think it was the best finish I've ever seen to an Overpro event. I'm trying to think of another one that kind of was as crazy as that, but it was just as you thought it was over. Like we've had a few where a couple of people come out, but that was the whole locker room pretty much.
Favorite exit, I think, was when Tony Atlas came out. I think that was my favorite one.
Okay.
Wasn't that
that was an actual match though. That wasn't at the end of the match. I'm talking about after the matches are finished.
Oh.
And then everyone was like, "All right, we'll see you guys in August. Thank you for coming out." Blah 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 blah. But that flip from Cedric, we see it all the time now on Raw and on 205 Live and things like that. But to see that in the Nova Pro audience with all those people there, it just looks so cool.
We know some of them.
So cool to see. And I don't think I even mentioned also, of course, Tim Donst and Brandon Day already started fighting as well. So it just kind of set everything up for the last one. I like how they got so many feuds going on within such a short period of time. We only had 8 matches. We've had Nova Pros where there's been lots and lots. The fact they got all those rivalries set up now they've got also the connections with Logan and Alexander James. They have that rival with Brandon Day and with Tim Donst. I like the fact they're setting up some of those. I think that worked really well. All right, anything else for this one then, Mason?
Nope.
I gotta say, I still love watching Nova Pro.
Yeah.
This actually, as we started watching this was at the 1-year anniversary of the last ever Nova Pro, so I kind of got a little sentimental. And I said to you, I was like, I miss the JCC. I used to love going to the JCC. It was really fun to go there. And yeah, it was still great to see people like, the fact that we also got to see people like Brian again not commentating, we got to see him doing ring announcing. It was just great to see all that sort of thing going on again. All right, that'll do it. Boom.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye to me.
And it's goodbye from them.
Goodbye.
The music was Zigzag by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0/